Hi, I'm Elliot. I'm from the US and I look forward to seeing you in my classroom soon.
So Elliot, can you tell me a little bit about your experience in teaching English?
Sure. I first started teaching English in 2008 in Indonesia at Wall Street Institute. I worked there for about 2.5 years, a little over 2 years I think. And I left Indonesia. I moved to Saudi Arabia, where I started teaching at 2 universities. I worked at Riyadh College of Technology and Al Ma'rifa, which was a medical school. I taught English for Business at Riyadh College of Technology, and I taught English for medical students at Al Ma'rifa. After that, I left. I went back to the United States. I finished my master's in business. I came back to Indonesia and I started working for a consulting company called Blue Visions. We specialize mostly in like contract management, project management, but we also did a lot of soft skills training. And through the soft skills training, we were able to develop sort of like a business English course that was also sort of combined with like a leadership development course. While I was at Blue Visions, I started as just a consultant and a trainer, but I worked sort of my way up and later became regional manager for Indonesia.
Elliot, what's your expertise in English language training?
So my expertise is really business English. I focus on mostly incorporating sort of like soft skills and leadership development skills into the English training that I do.
Can you tell me about why soft skills are important?
Sure, yeah. So I think a lot of the time, well, let me think about it for a second, how I'm going to answer that. What did I want to say?
I can phrase the question differently for you too.
Yeah, let me think about it. Why soft skills are important. I can say like, maybe, okay, maybe when you can ask, when you teach business English, what do you like to teach? I'll say soft skills, and you can say why soft skills, and then I'll go into the whole thing. Okay.
So Elliot, when you teach business English, what do you focus on?
So I really like to focus on soft skills training as opposed to just focusing on the business English itself.
Why soft skills?
Okay, so for me, soft skills are really important because, and it's a really great way to build a framework for training, because when you focus on the soft skills, when you focus on that framework, that can be like presentation skills, meeting management skills, public speaking, any type of intercultural communication or communication skills. The students become more focused on the activity that is more business related, and it sort of takes their mind off of having to focus too much on the vocabulary or the grammar, and it allows them to be more confident and speak more quickly maybe, and learn. I feel like they learn in a more organic way, and because of that they learn faster, and so they start speaking more, they start participating more, you can feel their confidence, and it's all because they're really focused on the soft skills part or the business skills part as opposed to just the English and the grammar and the vocab.
Elliot, what's the fastest way to learn English?
Okay, so for me, the fastest way to learn English is actually to think about like picking a business framework, right? Or like a business skill and using that as the framework. The reason we do that is because it'll take the student's mind sort of off of the focus of the grammar and the vocab, and they'll be able to start speaking more quickly and more naturally. Okay. There's a really great story behind this actually. So there was a tennis teacher, and he was super famous because on the first day that you got on the court, he could teach you to play tennis. And the way he did this was, he would get you on the court, and he'd start throwing the ball at the student, and he'd say, before you hit the ball, you have to start counting in your head. So try to see how high you can count before you hit the ball. So he'd throw the ball, and the student would count like 1, 2, hit the ball, 1, 2, 3, hit the ball. And what he was doing was, he was separating the student's mind. He was taking their mind off of the tennis. So they weren't thinking about the tennis. And when you do that, they were actually able to hit the ball right away without even thinking about it. And so when you teach business English and you use like business framework, like soft skills framework, it's exactly the same thing. So you take their mind off of the vocab, you take their mind off of the grammar points, right? You stick them in a business situation. You get them to start talking and acting in the business situation. They're focused on that. and then you can sort of build the grammar and the vocabulary and the lesson into that sort of framework. And it helps the students to learn much faster, I think.
So, Elliot, why is it important for a business professional in Indonesia who doesn't work in English every day to be learning English now?
Okay, so there's a few reasons for this, right? I would say the number one reason is Indonesia's got a growing economy. I think it's one of the fastest growing economies in the world right now. And because of that, you're going to get a lot of foreign investment. With foreign investment, you're going to get a lot of foreigners. So when you get foreigners, you're going to have to do business. And most of those foreigners probably won't come in with knowledge of the Indonesian language right away. And a lot of them are going to default to English because that's what we consider the global language at the moment. So absolutely, I think it's important that you learn English first before you become flooded with business with foreign partners or foreign clients or foreign customers. It's very important to be able to have those English skills ready to be able to use them when that starts happening. So I would say even if your company is focused on the Indonesian market, you're an Indonesian company, maybe even you're like a national company or a state-owned enterprise, the reality is at some point you will be doing business with foreigners. You might work with foreign clients, you might work with foreign companies, you might have foreign customers. So for all of those reasons, it's going to be important that you have those English skills on the ready and that you've already practiced them, you know how to use them.
Elliot, can you tell me about the Corporate Climbers program and what inspired that?
Okay, sure. So back when I worked in consulting, I had the sort of pleasure of being able to meet a lot of leaders and, I don't know what we call them, figureheads in the Indonesian sort of business world here. And, among some of the issues that they talked about, one of the biggest issues facing Indonesian businesses today are basically a skills gap between middle managers and senior managers. And the issue is that the middle managers don't have all of the necessary skills to get to that senior manager level. And if they do have the skills, they're probably going to be poached by another company. So what Corporate Climbers is a program to help sort of build out the skills gap for the people working in an organization. Maybe I should do that one again. Okay. So what Corporate Climbers is,
We good?
I just do like 3, 2, 1 and go for it. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
1, 2, 3, and action.
So what Corporate Climbers is it's a class that we've developed that enables the people who take the class to sort of build out those skills that are missing. So we really focus on, the communication skills, meeting management, presentation skills, negotiation skills, all the things that are sort of lacking in the middle management sort of realm, and then doing it in English with built-in English lessons, so that the students will be better prepared to face the challenges that will come as Indonesia grows and becomes more and more sort of international.